Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Reverend Stu, and we are so excited that you are back for another episode of Unmuted with PG. Our pastor has been on the road, has been on the move, truly. They just got back from Africa. He's been preaching. He's been just moving. He jet lagged a little bit, but we're so thankful that he showed up for us to, just talk about things that's going on with him. As y'all know, Unmuted, it's pastor outside of, the pulpit. It's PG, it's Charles, it's Chuck. It's all of him in ways that we oftentimes don't get to see. As him and being a human, talking about things he loves, talking about things he's excited about, talking about things he's experiencing. Today, we're so excited to talk about his trip in Africa. What's up, big bro?
What's up, man? Good to be here.
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna deal with. We're not gonna deal with the.
I go.
No, that means pay attention. You say I go, and the response will be amen. I go means hey, listen up. Amen said got your attention. So I don't know where you try to learn that from, but good try.
Well, the executive producer told me to say that, but I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
What's the origin of that? What?
It was when we was in Ghana, and so we were led through that part of the trip by a team called Sankofa, and so these are tourist guides. So, you sit on a bus, and so people are like, I go, and so that's really just like pay attention. Hey, so they want your response. Amen. And even when we was in Rwanda, they did the same thing. So it was really a hey, pay attention. You're probably gonna hear me put that in a sermon somewhere. It's different. It's I go and then amen. So yeah, you could have said Akwaba, which is welcome. Matisi Pan, which is thank you very much. There's a few things. And we picked up while we was there. So yeah.
Word. That's what's up. So one way I want to start this is just like, PG not talking about, the trip or faith or anything like that. I want to talk about your latest pickup. We know you're a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
We was talking about this earlier. I would love either something you've picked up when it comes to like sneakers or something you've watched. That you just been enjoying, whether it's like to get your headspace out the kind of way of working, to refuel yourself.
You know what's interesting? Well, of course, sneaks. I'm always trying to get that. Shout out to Assist Augusta, who always keep me laced and make sure I have some of the hot stuff. I love Jordan 11, so it's a rare, and I don't think everybody got up on it, but I like Jordan 11, so I got the rare Air Jordan 11s. That's probably. It's not the newest thing I got, but I can't wait to rock them because the color's blue, and blue's my favorite color. Royal blue has become my favorite color, so that's probably shoes. I will say some of my watchmen are so crazy. The flights were so long. Coming back was about a 20-some hour transport, and so while you're on there, you got to figure out stuff to do. And I watched a movie about AI, the inception of AI. And it was so informative, especially as as a church, we're trying to move forward with our Impact GPT and how we hope and pray that not only will be a useful tool when it comes to ministry, but also a useful tool for discipleship. So just to hear the inception of it and the person who kind of is considered one of the godfathers of AI, what their heart was, how it started, this machine trying to learn, really trying to morph into AGI, which is where the machines kind of learn on their own. So that was very intriguing. that was a documentary that I was sitting there thinking like, wow, could this be Terminator? You know what I'm saying? Like
same, Skynet.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. I'm not saying.
I don't know. It's a good theory though.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Yes, I am. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what it could be.
It's a good theory, though.
But it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued with AI, what it means, what it can ultimately become. So I think that's those two things for me, what I've copped lately and what I kind of watched. I don't get to watch much TV really at all, even though I do subscription stuff. I'm still trying to figure out why Disney and them keep trying to raise these prices on me. Are we supposed to be boycotting them? I'm not. I'd be
because they know we're gonna pay.
Yeah.
They know we're gonna pay.
They get us every time.
Nah, and Disney, I ain't gonna lie. Like I found like especially during holiday season, like that's when Disney Plus really come in handy.
Yeah.
Like just having all like the old school like Christmas movies, the Thanksgiving movies.
Yeah.
and things like that. We love it. So that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. And you were talking about Nigel Sylvester. I love him so much too, because like
Dope
the whole
brother.
idea of brick by brick.
Brick by brick is dope.
Yeah.
The concept.
Yeah.
The shoes are from his grandmother's driveway. Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the color. The initial one, the fours is the green was the color of the fence in his yard, his grandma's yard, and the red was the like brick of the driveway. So that was the inspiration for him, because that's where he grew his love for riding the bike. And so that's why that brick by brick, the color of the brick is the whole thing. Yeah.
Is there something in your own personal life? 'Cause now this made me think about another question to explore, like this whole idea of like inspiration, because I do think that like inheritance is huge. Especially think about like your trip to Africa, and even there were some very memorable moments over there for you, especially when you talk about, you know, your family members who are now ancestors. Are there ways and similar ways for Nigel where like you say, okay, here's the shoe that is inspired by the fence in my grandmother's house and the concrete. Is there a way in your own personal life you see like something that is yours that is inspired by your
everything?
It
feels like, you know, I still have my grandfather's Bible. My first preaching towel that is kind of in a sacred space in my home, in my study, was given to me by my grandmother. So a lot of things that other people don't understand, idiosyncrasies that I've developed, is through them. So, yeah, I think it's all around me. Like I got a staff when I was in Africa, and the colors were blue and silver, and that was the color that we buried my grandmother in. So seeing that and getting that was also a huge thing as a reminder. No matter where you are, we're always connected. You know, and that was very powerful for me. But everything, man, I mean, you know, I'm a church boy, you know, have an opportunity to do what I do every day. And passion has really been dope. Yeah.
Good. All right. So let's shift to
this
trip.
Africa trip, motherland.
Yeah. I want you to just tell, just for a few minutes, just brain dump your experience and like what it meant for you to be over there. Like, you know, give us, you know, how it came to be, you know, and then maybe let's do like when you first, when you first set foot on the motherland, what did you feel?
You know what, man, it's always intriguing. I never really thought it was a place I would desire to go. But there's always a hankering that hopefully one day I would go. Right? Like it's kind of weird to say that. So how this all came to pass was my dear friend, Dr. Nathan Scovins, who out of my crew was probably the missions-oriented guy. Like Dr. Nathan Scovins has traveled abroad on mission trips and other things. And so he got hooked up with World Vision some years ago and went to Africa. And through that connection, he came back and told us, you know, there's about a group of 10, 11 of us that just do life together. That's my brothers for life. And he said, guys, I want y'all to go. I want to kind of help get a trip for us to go to Africa. He was like, all right, you know, when initially someone tell you that, all right, cool. But man, he was on it. He shepherded us. We jokingly call him our bishop, but he really got that important. There's a wonderful friend of his who is now a sister to us, Shannon, who's over World Vision in North Carolina that kind of spearheaded. And so they did something that World Vision has never done, because all of us don't pastor in the same place. I'm in Georgia. You had Scovins in North Carolina. George Parks is in D.C. You had Riolan in D.C. You have Hutchins in Maryland. You have Rod Parks in Baltimore. James Jackson in Indianapolis. Sheridan Nelson in Virginia. Pointer in Little Rock, Arkansas. And Ben Adams in Florida, and Anthony Holmes in North Carolina. So we're all over the place. Typically, you have to stay with your state and your rep. But, man, Scovins, because of his prominence and who he is, man, they acquiesced to his request. And about a year and 2 years ago, we agreed, you know, we'll do it. Set the dates out. And typically with people like us, man, who are kind of itinerant preachers, always going everywhere, you know, that was kind of hard to pull off. We canceled stuff to stay. There was a couple of things I was supposed to do, but I really wanted to go with my brothers. I don't know if I would have been as committed if it was not for who I was going with and the cause I was going for. You know, this whole idea of going to really see about other places and children and stuff. And so there was a couple of things I think for that. We went for each other. because these just guys I do life with. And so I think that helped us stay committed. Number two, World Vision has proven to be a great partner for us. Like last year when we had the hurricane that came through, without me asking, World Vision called and said, hey, Pastor, we heard that hurricane's going there. What can we do? I said, man, we need everything. You know, at that time, we didn't know what was going on. And they literally sent a truck with stuff for our church and community. And I said to myself, and I told our staff when this happened, I said, man, I ain't even done nothing with them yet. But they were just so quick to kind of come help our community and walk alongside of us. And they've been doing that ever since. And I was like, whatever they need me to do, I'll do, right? Because anyone who comes beside you and helps in those moments, I was like, yo, we didn't ask. They just, they came and helped. So I think that relationship with World Vision really helped. And then, man, when this new administration took over and they talked about a lot of the Doge cuts, and it really hit this thing, USAID, and helping people across our foreign mission, feeding people. Yeah. So I do think there was a part also like, maybe this is a moment where like, we get to see some stuff, right? And then, the shutdown comes and it's like all this trepidation. Do we need to go? But it was like, maybe this is an opportunity for us to kind of see something beyond ourselves. And man, when I tell you, best decision I've ever made in my life besides accepting Christ and accepting my calling. This has been the most life-changing experience for me personally. And it's interesting because I think what we're going to talk about today is just the genesis of me kind of processing. I think I'll be processing this for a while because it's amazing. And so one thing I appreciate about Scovins that he didn't want us to just go on a mission trip. So we went two places, which is rare. You really only typically go on one trip, right, to one place for the mission. But Scovins had got it set up that we wouldn't just go to Rwanda to do the mission trip, but we would have a reconnection trip through Ghana first. So we spent the first half of the trip in Ghana, reconnecting with our roots, where we come from, and then go to Rwanda to do the mission work. And those two things in tandem was amazing. So the journey there to get there was crazy because I had to preach that afternoon. I had 5 services that day. We had to drive to Atlanta, fly from Atlanta to JFK. But on that day, because we're still in the shutdown, a lot of my friends' flights got canceled. So we're like, man, we got a flight tomorrow to Accra, Ghana from JFK, and we all had flights at 4. But man, I'm gonna tell you, much shout out to my brothers, man. Everyone made it happen. So Jack and Hutch was there and Indy with him. Flights got canceled. They ended up renting a car and driving 11 hours from Indianapolis to New York. Scovins, who was the originator of this thing, their flights kept getting jacked up. So they got in a car and drove 9 hours from North Carolina to Pointer and them called our flight, but they were running so late. But because of these delays, they ended up getting called. People were getting thrown off flights and stuff but we made. So man, it was just amazing to see that all of us made it, which I think should have been a precursor to let us know something special is going to happen on this trip because it took everything aligning. Like Ben, who's coming from Florida, had to sit on the tarmac. His flight was delayed 4 hours, right? Or Sheridan, him and his son, he took his son with him, missed their flight. They didn't want to risk it, so they got in the car and drove from Virginia to New York. So everyone just kind of made a way, and man, it was just crazy. And so we all made it, and that Monday, 4:00 p.m., we boarded at JFK, and it's 9-10 hours to Accra, Ghana. Yeah, and so that's where our journey began.
Take me to the moment where, like, you first step off the plane.
Oh, man.
And
they say, welcome home.
Say more.
They say, welcome home. They look at you and like, welcome home. Changes your life forever. Because they look at you as kindred spirits. Because they consider us, those of us who are here, African Americans here, as a survivor, that we are the ancestors of those who survived. That in itself was heavy. To hear them in Africa, Ghana, say, welcome home, and they're like it. And you feel it. It's something, I can't explain it unless you experience it. Welcome home. Like, wow. And that started the journey.
Because so few Black Americans actually get over there.
Yeah, but they wanted us to come back. You know, it was
Yeah.
a year Jubilee was like, a few years ago.
What is that?
It was when the year of the return. I think it was like 2019 or something
Really?
like that. Yeah, when they were inviting people. I didn't realize it. And so we're so shielded here because we don't get all of the news. News, that's a whole nother conversation. What we are exposed to. Right. And another reason I'm grateful I win is that oftentimes we can make the assumption that where we are is just what is going on. But we oftentimes miss the global things that are happening. Ghana been wanting us to come back. They were asking African Americans to come back 2004 and come back for the year of the return. And man, I see why, because the unfortunate reality is, and maybe there's another podcast we can dive deeper into this, is that as wonderful as Africa is, and I hate that they misrepresent it on the globe, because if you look at it on the globe, you make that Africa small. Africa is amazing. It's huge, right? And its resources are plenteous, but they've been pillaged so much by outsiders. And they really, there's a kindred spirit through us as African Americans with the whole story with Africa. And so it was kind of dope. That's why I got one of the things I had made over there was this black star, which represents Africa unity globally. It's in the middle of the Ghana flag, the red, green, black. So the black star represents Africa unity globally. I used to love a group by the name of Black Stars. Mos Def and Talib Kweli didn't understand the whole thing, what it meant, until I went over there and experienced it. Then you get in more of the history of Ghana and its liberation in Nkrumah. We went to his memorial and where he's laid and hear his story that it's not that I'm African because I was born here, but Africa was born in me. That was his famous quote. And the whole thing of the CCP party, forward ever, backward never. So there's just stuff that just commonality. And you began to understand what makes us have resilience. Yeah, it was pretty profound. So the first part in Ghana was that, reconnecting with our roots. They took us to the slave dungeons because it is unfortunate people call it slave castles. Yes, but they're dungeons. And we literally went and walked in the same places where they took our ancestors and treated them so inhumane. You could still smell the pain there. I mean, you could still smell the horror there when they chained us completely naked. No bathrooms. You're defecating, you're vomiting. They shepherding your room our size. They may try to fit 200, 100 some people in here, right? To starve you, to humiliate you, right? The first part of that going to the slave dungeon was through what they call the River of the Last Bath. They would force us to walk through wildernesses and all that kind of stuff to go to this river where they would get their last bath before they had to go to the slave dungeons. And you began to see that kind of stuff. So I put my feet in my feet in that water there. I could still feel the water on my ankles just because it was just such a connective moment. And to see what our people had to endure, that in itself will haunt me. But also it will invigorate and motivate me. Because I think on one hand, what they say is we are the ancestors of those who survived. That I don't believe there's any other people but us who could have made it through that.
Facts.
Which tells us there's a resilience in our blood.
Facts.
Which gave me a new perspective, like, we can handle anything, which I think has been bared out, but to see the genesis of it, to see where our people were brutalized and their own identities would literally try to be whipped out of them, and to see the space of the door of the no return. They didn't know what was going to happen. Some of them gave their lives, didn't even know, jumped in the water. They'd rather die than do it. It gave that new meaning to Killmonger in Black Panther. Yeah. When he talked about, man, let me rest in the waters where my ancestors who refused to come all the way through. Yeah. The biggest takeaway I got in Ghana, though, was so deep, was in the slave dungeons, there was this place, a room, that they would literally starve to death those who they considered fighting slaves. Because most people think that they're just so caltrained. No, man, people they knew I can't be bound. And so they would fight and they would do that. And so what they would do, their cruelty, was that they would lock these slaves in these rooms to die. They literally, there's a picture I think I posted that had a picture of a skull, because everyone knew that when you entered that room, the only other time you're coming out is you're carried out and tossed into the ocean. So one of the most profound moments for me that sticks with me, because on one hand, I appreciate being the ancestors of those who survived. But as I walked in that room, you couldn't even really breathe because you knew they wasn't feeding you. It was literally no air in there. You knew when you went in there, only way you was coming out was dead. And man, I sat there, man, and I put my hand on the wall and I prayed because part of me also wanted to connect with those who didn't make it but fought. And my prayer to God in that moment was, Lord, don't let that fighting spirit stay here. And if my role was to come back to connect with that, let me be somehow, some way part of that spirit to come back home. Don't let that spirit, don't let that fighter die here in vain. And that was profound. That was profound to me. Yeah,
that's really good, especially.
So God changed me.
Oh my God. I mean, there's so much there to think about, especially, you know, when you tell that story. I remember when my grandfather passed away in 2022, and then it was his funeral, and one of his best friends, Charles Earl, who served a long time, served in the military, born at the back end of the 30s, I think, either back end of the 30s or early 40s. And survived so much as a Black American man from South Carolina. And he told me during the repast, we went to the house, and Mr. Earl, he has this Frederick Douglass kind of look, and he has this big bellow voice. And he says, man, I love your granddaddy, you know, and everybody know I'm the storyteller of the family, you know, so everybody tells me stories or whatnot. And he started telling me about, you know, taking Granddad to go get some ice cream. And then he started telling me, he's like, have I ever told you about when I go on cruises to the Caribbeans? I was like, nah, Mr. Earl, you ain't never tell me the story. Tell me the story. He says, whenever I go on cruises in the Caribbeans, I always put my feet in the water. I say, why, Mr. Earl? Because somebody either swam there or drowned there. Yeah, he says he took his cane, because he has a little cane that rests in the center of his center of himself, and he leaned over on the cane and he point me in my chest. Yeah. And he was like, when you look at yourself, realize that somebody survived the swim. And I think that that's a very powerful thing, is that, like, I do think on one level, two things for Black Americans are happening here where, you know, we're disconnected from our African roots. You think about even religion. You know, there's so much disconnection when it comes to, you know, our like African spirituality, and how so much of like our Black religion and expression and the way we see the world, the way we live and be in the world.
They try to demonize it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to say it wasn't, but that's inherently in us as well.
Yeah.
Like ancestral traditions and our love for Christ are not mutually exclusive, right? They are included in who we are. You know, there's something I hope we may get into, the symbolism of it, as I talked about the water, which was huge. That's how they got over across. And when we went to Rwanda, their lack of water and the power of water. When we was over there, they were talking about water as a source of life. I'm just now computing that tie-in, that connection of water and what it means. And even though last night here at Tab, we baptized 32 people, right? And so this whole motif of water.
Man, that's went back to back to back. Like, how was it? Let's stay there.
Water
like,
in Ghana,
yeah.
Right? This water is, you know, those who had to drown, a river the last bath. Rwanda, when we went to see how water is such a precious commodity that they want, that they desire, is the source of life. Matter of fact, I think there's they showed part of the welcome here song they were singing. The words of the song was, water is the source of life and let us protect it. And then I did a water walk with children in Rwanda who every day would normally go to a school they know has no water, and they would walk down a mountain, get water, not fresh water, dirty water, to bring back not just for themselves, but for everyone in the school and the community. That's a whole nother conversation. And then I come back and we do baptism. And so you're seeing this connection between the water, right? It's something powerful. But then it speaks back to Jesus once again at the Samaritan well, right? He said, I'm water, right? Basically, if you knew what you were drinking, if you knew who was close to you, you'd never thirst again. So you get all these symbolisms, like parallels. And so, yeah, that was powerful for me.
Man, wow. Especially, like I'm thinking about, I'm just thinking about, like, on a very human level, like what you're describing is very much like I mean, I'm gonna use for some people maybe a big word, but it is definitely not like a metamorphosis of sorts.
Yeah.
Like
But you know, your
body.
biology, we are 75% water.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these connectivities,
Yeah.
man. These things that I think we take for granted. Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah.
Did it make you more aware of your
Absolutely.
existence?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. It made me more aware of purpose. Because it once again reinforces the reality that nothing happens by happenstance in the plan of God. Even that going back to God and thinking about being ancestors, those who survived, right? No matter what we think, they survived and they made it through. And we are descendants from those who didn't quit, who faced hardship, hunger, fatigue, unimaginable horror. You know, and we come from that, which to me really reinforced. If I didn't have it before, and I've always thought I'm a very motivated person, very focused person, very driven person. I think now it's amped up even more. We owe it to them.
Yep.
Right? Like we owe it to them who went through those unimaginable things to never quit, give our best. And that, yeah, it really, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. It's almost to me, man, I thought I was pretty motivated before. I am, that battery in my pack is different now. It's different. It's, yeah. It's going to take a lot. You're going to have to keep up with me on this one. Because I feel like we owe it. They gave their life for this. Like they were, it was really, it was mind blowing. I had a lot of times of reflection and to think, it's something different.
Y'all took this trip at the back end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been different if you took it at the front end of the year?
I don't know,
Like,
but I'm kind of glad we did because it was.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize for me, and most people in ministry, end of the year is the heaviest time of the year. You got to close out the year. A lot of stuff going on. Depends on how you feel about holidays and all those kind of things. So honestly, around this time, I am tired. I am really worn out from every aspect of life, not just physically. I'm not even talking about mentally, curious. Preaching becomes harder at the end of the year. You just know there's nothing to kind of put you better. But man, I think it was the perfect time to go. And it really kind of it jumped on us, and so I'm glad we went at this time. It was a thing to really kind of boost you. So that's a great question. I'm not sure, but I'm glad we did when we could. Yeah.
Word. So as we begin to land the plane on this one, as I loved the updates you were doing. It felt like we back here were able to be a part of the journey, and many of the pictures that y'all shared, and it almost was like, following along on another person's journey, and then waiting. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting anxiously for the return, and wonder like how will that shape you when you say like the batteries in your back and you're even more motivated going into this next year of ministry. How do you feel that what you've encountered is going to show up for you this year?
Yeah, it's crazy. Next year's theme is the year of fulfilled promises. And as I'm formulating that in my mind and trying to navigate with staff and team, and as we're preparing to unveil that in totality to the congregation, man, I think it just reinforces the reality, first of all, of we're part of a larger story, right? Like I knew it, but I know it, right? Like we're part of a larger story, which means we owe it to those who've come behind us, and we owe it to those who are in front of us. Right? That in itself is powerful. That dichotomy is there.
You're going to be an ancestor one
day.
Yeah.
So that in itself was huge. I do also think, man, we may go into it because this is going to be a series of conversations, is because Ghana and Rwanda were different. I want to say that. People thought I was misspelling it. We've been saying Rwanda here. It's Rwanda. The natives call it Rwanda, right? And to be experienced at the mission piece, wonderful people. I was also there. Rwanda is where they had that major genocide in 1994. You can't even imagine the incredible destruction. I think they have estimates of maybe up to 1.4 million people lost their lives, including a bunch of children, through this horrific internal battle. They estimate maybe 80,000 people lost their lives a day. We went to the Kigali Genocide Museum, where they believe is the mass grave of over 250,000 people. Yeah. And when I went to there and we went to the schools, you know, we dropped off stuff to the schools, and these students are going to school with no running water. They're going to spaces, and we dropped off soccer balls and jump ropes because there's stuff you can't really bring through. You couldn't bring stuff with batteries and stuff. And man, these kids are so excited and happy. We did a water walk with it. And I will tell you, being there also reinforced to me. When I was in college, D, I'm not sure if you had this, there were a few Africans who went to my school. And when I tell you they worked so hard, but sometimes I felt there was a disconnect, but they worked so hard. It wasn't until I went to Africa that I understood where there might be some disdain, because when I saw where they come from, they probably looked at us with all of our comforts, all of the opportunities that we perhaps have, and we can go back and forth on what that looks like, systemic structure and all that thing. We know how
for
it
sure,
is.
for
But
sure.
for them, you're here, you got an opportunity, and you don't want to give your best for it. Like it really reinforced to me, A, the importance of education, B, the importance of giving your best, and C, man, honestly, never wasted an opportunity. Oh my God. So that in itself, I think, was very powerful. Yeah. Maybe we come back because these should be a series of conversations.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about the Rwanda trip.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the food in Africa.
Yeah, we do got to talk.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah. Y'all had jollof.
Fresh. But I mean, but they don't have the preservatives and stuff that we have.
Yeah.
I was eating stuff that I would not eat over here. And I felt so much better. I felt lighter. The Lord is good. Food was
And we got to
amazing.
talk about when you first came back to America after this trip.
Listen.
It's a visceral, like,
It's a difference.
something happens in the body when you return back to this country after being out of it.
The food here,
Yeah.
processed, preserved.
Crazy. That's
The
wild.
food was so amazing.
That's wild.
Rice and fish, plantains, and I mean, it was just. I drink Cokes. I don't drink Cokes over here. I typically do Coke Zeros. But man, it's not the same sugar. It's not high fruit. They don't have fructose and all that stuff. And that was this thing. My brothers know exactly what I'm talking about if they tuned in. It was a spice tea made with ginger, and it made every morning we had it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They had fresh ginger shots. Oh my God. I felt so much better.
Would you
Probably
keep
my skin was better too over there.
Will you keep the tea recipe going?
I need to find it. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. I
Yeah.
need to find it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get them to do
Are
it.
you a morning tea person?
I typically was not. But while I was over there, let me get some of this.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Wow.
It was
That's
incredible.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, man, appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to
Part
return
one.
back to this conversation.
Absolutely.
On being in Africa and the way it shaped you. And I love that idea. You know, I think many of us can, benefit from realizing, like, you are part of a larger story. Like your name, your last name, your first name, it means something. I really want to get into, next time the
Let's do
naming
that.
ceremony.
Matter of fact, I want y'all to, Yah is what they call me. Because they name you based on what day you were born. So I was born on Thursday. So Yah is my name, Y-A-W. And so, that's a whole nother thing. Matter of fact, those who tuned in with me and D, write in the comment section, give us some ideas about what you want to hear about the trip, because there's a lot of stuff as I'm trying to dump. I would love to know what people want to know, what aspect, because I can go so many places. Those 11 days, man, my life has been changed. It's been
was
crazy.
11 too. Wow.
It's the longest trip I ever been on.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, it was the longest trip I ever been on.
Wow.
But man, that time flew. Yeah, I can't believe I'm back home, but it's good to be back. So we would love that, man. D, thank you so much. Now I didn't want to say somebody in the studio said you look like Whitney Houston in The Bodyguard. I didn't want to go there.
Hey, call me Connie, bro.
I didn't want to go there.
Hey, call me
I
Connie.
didn't want to go there. But these young ones.
Hey, trendsetter. You gotta,
Absolutely.
shout out to the black man who.
We need to do a thing on fashion.
No, we could real talk because,
Yeah.
I think honestly, this is a PS, a caveat. I just think there's so many. I think there's something dope about like fashion for a lot of black men. It gets us out of our comfort zone. There's nothing like a black boy or a man being able to have his outfit that he know he looks good in. And
that first day school,
comfortable.
that first day of school outfit that you laid out on the bed for like
yes, sir.
2 months.
Yes, sir.
That you ain't even sleep on that
Hey,
side.
you walking
put it
like
on
you
one
got
side.
duck feet so you don't crease your shoes or nothing.
Yeah, man. Listen.
I got a funny story about that. I wore my brother's size 12 Jordan. I think it was, what's the Jordans with the straps? The ones with the straps on top. Is
That's
that
8.
two? I feel like they might be 8s. They're like they were like red and white, and like they got the straps in the 20. They were size 12, bro. I was in like 6th grade, bro.
You just put them on. You had to.
Yeah, I had
flopping
to.
around.
Oh my god,
Flopping
like
around.
boat shoes.
Flopping
Bro, I
around.
got beaten so bad that day.
He beat you.
Oh no, my mama did.
I bet.
For taking my brother's shoes.
I bet. But you were fly at school.
Hey,
though.
no, I'm fly now. I'm fly. I had it on some baggy jeans, a red big old shirt with a big old white shirt underneath.
That was a style back
Oh,
then.
no,
We used to
I
layer-
was cooking.
We used to layer our stuff.
And I was cooking.
You used to have
I
a
was-
shirt on, and then you would layer it underneath the different colors to match your shirt. These young people don't know nothing about that.
Nah, they
These young
back
people-
on the quarter zip though.
Are they? I'm sorry.
Not a quarter
I saw
zip.
that was a trend while I was in Africa. I come back from Africa and everybody wearing quarter zips. What is going on?
We all cappers now. We all cappers.
I didn't do it. That's funny. That's hilarious. That's
All right, well, tune in for the next one, y'all. And we're going to
Put
talk.
your questions in the comments.
Yeah,
Let us know what you want to hear.
for sure. All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Love y'all.